The other day, I was sitting in a diner in Queens, in Astoria, which is a pretty much heavily Arab neighborhood, with a close friend of mine who is an older man, older 40s, late 40s. That's old to me. Um, he's a Lebanese Muslim, and when he was a kid, he was, a first-hand witness to what was going on in South Lebanon, the war back then, which I wouldn't necessarily say was between Israel and Lebanon, but involved the Israeli military fighting terrorist factions in South Lebanon. So, in a sense, it was a Lebanese-Israeli war. It's called the First Lebanon War amongst Israelis. Anyway, so I've known this guy for quite a while, and we disagree on a lot, specifically when it comes to Israeli-Palestinian politics, the whole Israeli-Arab issue, all that. And on some things we agree. He's one of the few Arab Muslim friends I have who has admitted that he believes Israel has a right to exist, and the Jews definitely have a place in the Middle East, but what the specifics of that is, we disagree on. Now, the last thing I was expecting for him to agree with was the idea of somebody who does not necessarily have to join the Israeli military doing it, because I thought, in his view, that this would be taken as a sign of fighting when you don't need to, of promoting violence, in his view, when it's not necessary. You're not bound to by law, so why would you want to, add to something like that? I myself am an American citizen. I am not required by Israeli law to serve in the Israeli Defense Forces, but for my own personal reasons, I am volunteering to serve a year and a half starting this summer in the Israeli army. And I hadn't told him this. It's been something that I've been planning for a while, and that's been in the works for some time. But just this other day when we were eating at this diner, I brought it up to him. I said, I'm going away for about a year and a half to 2 years. I'm going to be overseas. So, that's interesting. I said, yeah. What would you say if I told you that? And I tried to first play it off like a joke to test the waters, because I didn't want to create an awkward situation, especially since he was treating me to food. So I said, what would you say if I said that I was, volunteering for the Israeli military? And he said, ah, that's very good. Very good. Wallahi, that's very good. That's how he talks. And I said, really? You think so? He said, yeah. It's very good that you have something that you believe in and that you're going to do something about it, more or less, is what he said. And I was kind of shocked. I didn't expect it. I knew he agreed with the right of Israel to exist, but I didn't think that he supported the Israeli military, because a lot of the times when we got into arguments and disagreements, it would be over what the Israeli military does, me defending the Israeli military for taking action to protect the state of Israel and to ensure its security, and him saying, no, either this is not necessary, this is an overreaction, too much, blah, 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 in his opinion. So I was shocked, and as I went home that day on the subway, I sat there and I was thinking about it, and what I realized was his way of thinking is something that enables him to be the type of person, that the type of other that somebody can make peace with, because what he communicated when he said that was, not only do I recognize that you exist, the Israelis and Palestinians recognize that they exist, that each other exist. There's no doubt in that, but also in recognizing that it's respectable for you to serve in the Israeli military, that it's respectable for you to serve in your country's military, is a way of him saying, how do I put it? Way of him saying, I understand that your military is necessary. I don't just see your military as a force of occupation or a force of persecution or whatever he may see it as. I see it as a military. And by recognizing that the Israeli military is a military, he also recognizes that it's legitimate. The Israeli government is legitimate. That it's a country that needs a military. And it's very subtle, my point here. But if you think about it and if you see what I'm saying, I don't know if I'm explaining it too well, but the whole idea is that by recognizing all of this, it's a true recognition of the other side's legitimacy by saying, yes, we can have peace with you and you can have a military. It means, yes, we recognize that you're a country and you can be a normal country. The issue of peace for a man like my friend revolves more around the specifics of what needs to be done to redress conflict issues and to work out a set of circumstances that allows both people to live together side by side, or what have you, in peace and security and happiness, hopefully.